Hi everyone, and welcome to the Art of Chelsey. Today I'm going to be working on this mermaid that I sketched out and then transferred over into my main paper. And before the video even really starts or gets too far, I do want to tell you that I lost some footage. I record on my phone, as you know, and I guess my phone was full. It had too many videos stored, and I got all the way done, for the most part, with coloring it, and it stopped recording, but my phone is above me when I work on a piece of art, so I wasn't aware until it was all done. So I didn't record any of the line work or the background work, but I'm still going to talk about it a little bit, and I'll have a picture of the finished piece at the very end. But anyways, what I'm doing right now is I'm coloring her skin tone with Studio Series, one of my skin tone sets. And this is my second time using the Studio Series markers, and I will be doing a review on those soon. But I've been sick all week and haven't really been up to filming more footage. So maybe next week, maybe the week after. But anyways, a lot of my colors started to get a little bit dry after my first piece, so I'm limited as to what I have at this point. And then this one, her purple tail that I'm using now, is the hashtag coloring alcohol marker by Art Alternatives, and it is kind of streaky and running out of juice as well. So it was kind of frustrating at this point. Oh, when I was working on it, being like, oh, why did I just do this in watercolor? But I started adding in some of my other markers to give her tail more of a gradient and maybe some texture to try to hide the streaks from the marker. And I keep on going back in with my skin tones to try to add dimension and shading and everything. So, well, what I decide to do now is, maybe I can add scales, but it doesn't really work, so I just do a whole nother layer of color to smooth it all out, which ends up working pretty good. Over to the right, I have my sketchbook where I always test what I'm going to do and how my colors are going to play together before I actually put them on the piece that I'm doing. Sometimes I don't have much choice. I have to use whatever I have if I want that color until I go out and buy more. But I can at least see how different colors, when they overlap, how they're going to interact with each other. So then I'm able to go back in with a little bit more darker pink and add in some blush and stuff to her skin tone. And then I go over and I test out some of my grays to figure out what's the lightest, so I can go in and do some light shading on the shells on her top. This piece overall turned out very pastel, which I like it, but I feel like I wanted to go darker, but I was just a little bit afraid because I liked what I had, and so you end up in this weird point of not being too sure how to proceed. And I ran into that a few times with this piece once I was all done with my main figures, because I wasn't sure how to do the background, because obviously my markers wouldn't have enough life to color in the entire background. And even if they did, I would be killing a marker just doing all blue background. So I Instagrammed Hetty and Claire from Black Summer Coloring with some opinions on what else I could do. And what I ended up doing at the very end is using pan pastels, which was probably my second time using my pan pastel kit, and I was able to do a really nice background. And I learned a few things about pan pastels, that they overlap and play with other mediums very well. there I was able to put it on top of the marker, and then I was able to put my marker back on top of the pan pastel without any issues with the pastel pigment or with it damaging the marker. So I'm trying to add some dimension into her hair, which I kind of wanted to look like seaweed as it's floating on the top of the water. When I do a time lapse, I either use Lapse It Pro, and it takes a picture every, I don't know, 2 to 15 seconds, and then I compile that into a video. But it has to go pretty quick, or else it's a little stop motion-y. This one, which is part of why it took up so much space, is I just recorded straight video because it comes out with much smoother, nicer ending when it's all done. So I sped it up 4 times its normal speed, which is still a little bit slower than what I normally do. But I figured it might be nice to see a longer video since I lost some footage. Now I'm going back in and doing the scale texture, which is very subtle for all the work that I had to do. But I feel like in the end it was worth it just to add that little bit. Now I'm working on the manatee. He was kind of hard to do because manatees have a lot of different discoloration and subtle textures, and I was kind of just worried about him looking funny. So I did what I could, and I got rid of a lot of his scars and everything. From my reference picture, I guess if you're not familiar with manatees, I live in Florida, and so where I am specifically, right next to the river and the ocean, and so most manatees have scarring all along their backs from speedboats, and so I kind of got rid of that part of what was on him, since it's not a natural part and no one really likes that. This piece was actually specifically done for a show. The By the Seashore was what it's called, and I'm an owner of a gallery, and we do a different show every month with a different theme. And because we have manatees in our area, manatee art is pretty popular, and I've never actually done one, not since I was little anyways. They used to be one of my favorite animals because they're just so cute, and they're, the original mermaids. But yeah, so I just wanted to include that and have it be part of the show. And then it was a good excuse to use my alcohol markers on another piece. But the texture was kind of difficult. I was mostly just being messy and seeing how it turned out. This is where the video kind of ends, and where I get into everything else. The very top part of the ocean was done in markers, and then that's when my problem started, and I didn't really know where to go from there. And then the rest of the blue is just one pan pastel color. It went on so amazing. I'm going to be doing a review pretty soon on pan pastels and what I have and how to use them. I'm kind of just in the experiment phase right now, but basically I was able to use a sponge applicator to do all of the blue in like 10 minutes, and then I just added in some seaweed, and then I decided to do the sky with pan pastel as well. But that was pretty much it. I'm kind of bummed I didn't get that part of it recorded, but it was still nice to see it all come together. But that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions for future videos, and see you next week. Bye!